Hey everyone, this is Alan from EV News, and today we're going to be talking about the 6 levels of the EV industry. I'm going to give you guys a bunch of companies and where to invest. Hopefully you guys like this video. I'd like to hear from you guys down below in the comments. Let me know if you're invested in any of these companies, or let me know if you like the video and maybe how I can improve. I would really appreciate your guys' feedback. So I'd like to ask you guys to go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Let's get into this video.
All right, so as I mentioned, what I'm going to do is talk about the 6 different levels here in the EV industry. My name, once again, is Alan Dowden, and I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just going to give you guys a lot of information about which companies to invest in these 6 different levels, and then you can make the decision on your own where you feel is best. I always encourage you to do your own due diligence and your own research. Let's get into the 6 levels. All right, so these are the 6 levels here in the EV industry. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the battery charging. Then we're going to move into the vehicles. Then we're going to talk about electric batteries. Then we're going to talk about the elements that go into the electric batteries. Then we'll talk about rare earths and then recycling. So let's get into it. So the first industry that I want to talk about, or the first level in the EV industry, are the charging stations. And within that charging station, here are 5 companies you can invest in. And the first one is Blink Charging. Ticker symbol is BLNK. And Blink has had an amazing run since, if you look at last year to today, it has been impressive, the growth that they've had. And Blink is really pushing forward with their charging infrastructure. Of course, San Antonio is one of the cities that has said we want to use Blink for our EV charging infrastructure. And then they're really pushing for Central and South America. So expect big growth in Central and South America there from Blink. And then we move into ChargePoint, which is ticker symbol CHPT. It used to be SBE, but that merger is complete. And ChargePoint just actually rang the bell at opening the other day on Wall Street. So congratulations to ChargePoint. And ChargePoint is the largest EV charging company in the United States. Great future outlook there. And then the next one is EVBox, which is ticker symbol TPGY. It's still a SPAC there. The merger it's been agreed on, but it hasn't been completed and hasn't been finalized yet. But EVBox is the largest charging station company in Europe, and Europe's EV agenda is much more aggressive than the United States is. Then you have Volta Charging, which I see a lot of people talk about. That's ticker symbol SNPR. And really, they're very unique in the form that their charging stations actually have advertisements on it. So they make money off of ad revenue as well. And then EVgo is a company that I've read, and I'm not sure if this is 100% true, but their leadership is completely all women ran, and they have a really great outlook in the future as well. So those are the 5 right there in the charging stations. The second thing that I want to talk about, a second level I want to talk about, is the actual vehicles themselves. So within those vehicles, here are 5 companies to talk about. And the first one is Lordstown Motors, or ticker symbol RIDE. And Lordstown Motors, they make the all-electric pickup truck, the Endurance, and that Endurance will come out in September of 2021. So I expect really big things. I know a lot of people are really starting to push aggressively into Lordstown Motors. They seem to be attached to the hip with Workhorse, but I think that separation is going to slowly happen, and Lordstown Motors will take off. They are in their own lane. They're looking to get government contracts and fleet contracts for the electric pickup truck, the Endurance. And then the next one is Proterra, and I am extremely bullish and very optimistic about the future of Proterra. If you've been following me, you know that that's my stance. It is my largest position. It's where I put the most money right now, is in Proterra. The ticker symbol is ACTC, and they already own 50% of all the electric buses in the United States. And they don't just do the buses, they actually do charging and batteries. So that's why I put a lot of money. They have a very diversified amongst these 6 levels. And then, of course, Lucid, and that's the picture right there, as you can see on your screen. That's the Lucid Air. It is a luxury EV, beautiful car. I expect really great things from Lucid. And then the next, of course, is Fisker, which is ran by the CEO, Henry Fisker, and Fisker strives to be the most sustainable EV car in the world. I follow Henry Fisker on his LinkedIn, and he's pushing sustainability all the time. That Fisker Ocean is a beauty, and it's a car that I look forward to having in the future. Another one is XPEV, or XPeng. Now, of course, you have NIO and Tesla, but everyone talks about those, so I don't feel like I need to get into that. But XPeng, or XPEV, they are leaders. They're a Chinese EV company, but they really are solidifying themselves as kind of leaders in the autonomous driving sector. So I expect big growth from them as well when it comes to their tech. So those are the vehicles right there. Of course, there's others, but these are just some that I wanted to share with you today. Another level that we can talk about, or where I really want to talk about the most is actually these electric batteries. Now, majority of my portfolio is actually heavily invested in the electric batteries and then into the elements that follow afterwards. But let's go into these electric battery companies. Now, the biggest one that I really like the most, and I see a lot of people talk about as well, is Microvast, or THCB. And Microvast is a company that's already generating over $100 million in revenue. When you compare it to everyone else, they are leaders in terms of actual generating revenue. And then they have a manufacturing plant in China, in Germany, that is about to make production now, March 2021. And then they're looking, or they will be opening, a US-based manufacturing plant in Tennessee, and have been in talks to spread as well to Florida. So Microvast is my number one. I'm heavily invested in Microvast as well. I really like this company. Another one is QuantumScape. They're really big into solid state batteries, and their stock right now is like over $60. They've had an amazing run and have done a really great job. And it's kind of interesting because they used to be a SPAC, and in the SPAC they had their rise and then their dip, and then everyone thought it was kind of over because they won't have product until like 2024. But then that's when they've really taken off, and they're sitting over 60. They were even over 100 at one point. And then another company, of course, that I like is Freyr, which is ticker symbol ALUS. And Freyr is a Norwegian company that already has $16.2 million backed by the Norwegian government. They have a great outlook for the future, and I expect huge things from there. They're trying to make the cleanest electric battery in the world, and they will be Europe's number one electric battery manufacturer by like 2025. And I've even read that they're looking into getting into rare earths, so keep an eye out for Freyr, or ALUS. And then another company, which is a US-based one, is Romeo Power, ticker symbol RMO, and they have contracts with like Workhorse. I don't have a position. I used to have a position in RMO. I do not have a position in them anymore, but with the price being under $10 or around $10, I think it's a great entry point. And then the same thing with Flux Power. A lot of people don't talk about Flux, and I really like Flux because they are like Ride and Lordstown Motors. They are basically the only people in that lane, and they focus on electrifying warehouse vehicles. So things like forklifts and those vehicles that are needed in warehouses. So I really like them. I know I have a friend and a subscribers that have invested in Flux as well. Now, the next level of the EV industry is the actual you have lithium, you have graphite, you have nickel, and then they are trying to do away with cobalt. So we're not going to talk about cobalt, but really what I want to focus on is just lithium, because that's really like, it doesn't make up the most of the electric vehicle battery or the EV battery, but it is an essential part of it. And these are the stocks and these are the companies that you can invest in for lithium. And my number one choice is Lithium America, ticker symbol LAC. I have talked about them a lot before, and I continue to be very bullish and optimistic about Lithium Americas as well. It's because they're going to be done with their Argentinian plant and will be exporting lithium from Argentina by the end of this year. And then by Q3 of 2022, or maybe by the end of 2022, Thacker Pass will be ready. And Thacker Pass is the second largest lithium resource in the world, and it's found in Nevada, only like 3 hours away or 4 hours away from the Tesla gigaplant. So I have huge hopes and huge expectations from Lithium America moving forward. And then of course you have Piedmont Lithium, PLL, which I've seen them go up to like $70 a share. They used to be sitting at $9 a share. They have a contract with Tesla, and I expect a lot of these lithium companies to be getting quite a bit of contracts as all these EV companies or all these automotive companies are switching over to EV. Another good one is Levent. That ticker symbol is LTHM. Same thing. I expect contracts there. And then you have ALB, and then you have Sociedad Química y Minera. Now, these last two I'm not invested in at all. I've never really have looked much into them, but they are lithium companies. And I do know that one of my subscribers talks about Sociedad Química y Minera out of Chile all the time. So good for him. He's really bullish on it, and I don't see why any lithium investment is a wrong investment moving forward. Now, another level of the EV industry is the rare earths. And within the rare earths, what we're going to be talking about really specifically is that neodymium or neodymium, which is used for the magnets, which is essential for the EV motor. So let's take a look at where you can invest. Now, China holds basically like a monopoly on these rare earths, and okay, cool. So China owns a monopoly basically on these rare earths, and they have passed a lot of laws that are actually restricting the export of these rare earths. So people are starting to look elsewhere. And one of the big ones, of course, is Mountain Pass, and that's in California. It's a US based one. The ticker symbol is MP. I've had a huge position in them. I currently do not have any position at all in Mountain Pass, and I'm looking to restart one there. But Mountain Pass can actually support about 15% of the world's demand for rare earth. So they have a great position. And then they're looking into starting their own processing plant instead of having to ship that out to China to get that all processed. And then you have AREC, of course, which is American Resource Corporation. They started a subsidiary company that is focused just on rare earth. You have Linus Corporation, which is the largest processing plant, rare earth processing plant outside of China, which is found in Malaysia. Linus is a Australian company. So, and then the last one that you have on this list is Medallion Resources, and Medallion and Linus are both OTC stocks. I recommend you take a look into them as well. And then the last level of the EV industry, and this is where I get a lot of negative feedback about the EV industry, is that these lithium ion batteries are just found in landfills, and they find themselves in dumps. But that's changing. There's a lot of companies that are coming out, and you can invest in them. I was once heavily invested in American Battery Metals Corp, ABML. I got in extremely early at 9 cents, and I sold around $3.30. And now that it's sitting around 2, it's probably a good time to get back in. But with these recycling battery companies, what you get is that they'll take these old batteries, they'll recycle the lithium, they'll recycle the batteries, and then they'll actually like resell them, or be able to salvage the lithium. And there you have LI Cycle or Lithium Cycle, which is PDAC, and then you have Norsk Hydro, which is NHYDY, which I currently have a pretty big position in, and they have done fantastic over the last month. While everything was down in red, Norsk Hydro has stayed green. And then another company is American Manganese, which I also have a position in as well, which is AMYZF. So those are your battery companies right there. There's another one that has a partnership with Norsk Hydro. It's called Northvolt. They're a Swedish company. I'm waiting for them to come to market, and I will be investing heavily into them as well. So this will be a good example of how you have your diversified EV portfolio. So you have the charging station in EVBox, then you'll have the vehicle in Proterra, then you have the battery in Microvast. Well, Proterra also does charging and does batteries. So there you have like a 3-in-1. And then you have LAC, which is your Lithium's Americas, your lithium stock. And then you can have a position in Mountain Pass, or maybe like AREC to then have your rare earth. And then you can have like Norsk Hydro as your recycling, or you can go with ABML, American Battery Metals Corp, ABML, which is located only like 30 miles, I believe, or 30 minutes away from the Nevada Gigaplant, Tesla's Nevada Gigaplant. So that would be the example right there. And then, like I said, I'd like to ask you guys to subscribe and like. There's my email address right there. It's alandowden@evnews.com. And then you guys can go to my website and visit for more news and information. I did used to write a lot of articles. I've semi-neglected it a little bit, but I need to get back into it. And that is at ev-news or ev-news.com. And then I did throw my Venmo up there. If you want to help support me, buy me a little cup of coffee or something along those lines, I'll take that money and obviously invest it into the EV. So thank you guys for all your support. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.